Close to heart. It's something I wrote for my parents. It's something that through which I just hope they see how much I appreciate the way they brought me up. So this piece is for anyone and everyone who has been punished by their parents, whether they've been sent to the corner, spanked with a belt or a slipper, or told that it was all out of love. This is Soft Bodies. I remember watching television with my mother when I was around 5 years old. My eyes wide with wonder, glued to the television screen as explosions went off left and right. Then, from out of the shadows came a vicious monster. A large lumbering beast with a long reptilian tail, body covered in serpentine scales, razor-sharp teeth that could tear flesh from bone, and eyes, glowing red, that seemed to follow me wherever I went. It trudged through the streets, wreaking havoc, nearly reducing the city to shambles. With every step it took, the ground beneath me shook, sending shivers down my spine, and I was scared. But when all hope seemed lost, a masked man appeared out from under the rubble and challenged the fearsome thing. He charged forward, locking hands and butting heads with the monster. And then, after what seemed like an eternity of a wrestling match, back and forth tosses and tugs, the masked man landed a mighty blow that sent the monster to submission. I marveled at his strength and wanted to be just like him. So I took a deep breath, put my mask on, and got ready to rumble. My fist was clenched when it came in contact with my mother's jaw. At that moment, I hailed myself the hero, the victor, the strong one by whose hand the monster was slain, only there was no monster. Just my mother on the verge of tears, looking at me in shock as she caressed the reddened skin on her cheek. And I was no hero. Not with my excitement turned to fear as I witnessed my mother's hand turn into an airplane, take off of its arm-length runway, and crash land on my cheek. I burst into tears while back on the television screen, the masked man held his arms up in victory. When I see the people on television going about their daily adventures, I wonder if I reach out with my warm fingers to feel their aching limbs and bloody bones. I know that I will only be met by a cold, hard glass of the television screen. The masked men who live fictional lives against two-dimensional dioramas do not know what it feels like to bleed, to hurt, to be struck. To them, it's all simply part of the script. An act put on for entertainment for people like you and people like me. On screen, the masked man is tough as nails, but he does not know what it means to be human. And people have such soft bodies. When I was 8, my brothers and I were horsing around the house with the accidentally broken antique vase. It fell to the floor with an unmistakable crash, causing our father to come out of the room to investigate. Upon seeing the shattered remains of what was once a beautiful vase, he yelled at us, told us to wait outside of the room, while he went back in. He emerged a few minutes later with a leather belt in hand. I knew what it meant and it scared him. I'd heard stories of how the strike comes without warning, like a crack of lightning with thunder racing to catch up, only you don't see the bolt of lightning. You only feel the slow burn of a branding iron digging deep into your skin. Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe more. We cowered in fear, each one of us hoping that secretly the others be called first, but being the eldest, I was always first up to the plate. He grabbed me by my wrist and started walking to the room. I did my best to resist, but tears never bear any weight, and gazes anchored on the floor hold no ground. The only strong part of me are my bones. When I look in the mirror, all I see is soft skin and weak muscle draped over a flimsy skeleton scaffold. My body is not a fort made to withstand attacks. It is a house of cards that I know would crumble at the slightest whisper of unwary words. Face down on the bed, an earthquake erupted throughout my body, and I felt my heart sink deeper and deeper into the fissures caused by the tremors. Unceremoniously, my father lowered my shorts, exposing soft skin. He placed one hand, heavy, on the small of my back to make sure I didn't move. And I have never had any greater weight of love. I felt his belted hand rise into the air higher and higher and higher, like a roller coaster creeping to the peak right before the drop. And when he stopped, I tensed my body, clenched my cheeks, and waited. 18 years old. I'm dressed in a peach-colored gown tied shut from behind, lying in a reclining bed with railing on its sides. My parents sit close to me, while people in long white coats give us a situation. 11-inch tumor in my left kidney. Stage 3. Chemotherapy. Surgery. My parents knew what it meant and it scared them. Before my very eyes, I witnessed the mighty pillars I had always revered soften, crack, and crumble. My mother on the verge of tears, looking at me in shock as she caressed the rosy skin on my cheek. My father, trembling, one hand limp on my leg, raising his free hand to wipe away tears. In that moment, I did the only thing I could. I looked at them and I told them, everything is going to be okay. I am strong because of you. Over time, I have learned that strength has nothing to do with having a heart as hard as stone. It is not having the power to hold down a scared child. Strength is accepting that we have soft bodies that were never meant to resist pain, but to absorb it. Right after being stabbed by my mother, she immediately drew me into her embrace while apologizing over and over and over. My father's hand came down like lightning from the heavens, and I heard the thundering blow of the bell hitting the bed beside me. Then, I felt the lifting of a great weight as my father took his hand off my back.